Welcome back to the Charlotte Wallace YouTube channel. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and put the notification bell on so that you don't miss an episode of my videos. My name is Phoebe. I'm a trained makeup artist. I also do some music and I also dye my hair purple, so go check out some of my other videos. But today I'm joined by my best friend Alex and we're doing a pop art zombie. So I was first inspired by Glam and Gore. I was introduced to her channel when I was still training in makeup. And I thought her pop art zombies were just really insane. So this is my version and I hope you enjoy. Before we get started, be sure to follow me on social media at Charlotte Wallace MUA, and that's the same for Facebook as well. The first thing I did was take an eyeliner, it doesn't matter what colour it is, and I started mapping out the mouth and drawing on the teeth. Notice that the top teeth will always meet at the top lip and the bottom teeth will always go up to the middle of the bottom lip. That's just to help disguise the natural lip into the new mouth. I then did the nose and some holes along the face. I was going to black out her eye, but in the end she couldn't keep one eye open and one eye closed. So just check with your model if they can do that or not. So just fill that in, or you could do contact lenses. I'm then taking Meron's Paradise paints. These are water activated paints and I'm using a Real Techniques angled contour brush to use this, or to apply this. And I use it quite thickly. I get the brush really quite coated in that paint, so it's quite thick and it's not runny or watery. I started off with yellow so that it shows through underneath. I then went over this with a less opaque, so more sheer coverage of lime green, and then I did a contour with a dark green, basically just adding some shadowing back into her skin. I then went in to do her eyebrows and I started off by painting on pink. I then went over this towards the ends particularly with a darker blue to make purple. You could also mix this off of her face, but I didn't. You've got to go back and forth under the eyebrow just to get onto that skin that's underneath, especially when they're as thick as hers. Any messes you can just clean up with an earbud. I then took an orangey pink, which I didn't end up liking, and I painted this into the gums, and then I will paint this onto the wounds on the face as well. I did end up changing this to a more magenta, which had more purple in it, and it was just a bit darker and more opaque than this colour turned out. And I did the outside of these fleshy wounds, and then on the body I just painted it straight on. After this I went in with some green paint and I outlined all of the gums and the wounds on the face. I then hunted down an eyeshadow palette and I used the dark green from my NYX palette, and I'm using a flat eyeshadow brush to blend this around all of the wounds and around the gums, to also create some eye bags as well. I did this on the body as well. This is just to add some dimension and make the wounds look like they really are peeling away from the skin, so we're adding back in that shadow effect. I then went in with some black paint and I am doing the line work around all of the features. Starting with the wounds on the body, I'm doing thicker lines towards the very top of the wound and the bottom, making it thinner along the very edge of the wound. And then I'm doing some little lines around the outside of the wound to make it look like it's raised from the skin. I am then doing this on all of the others. If it's very round, I'm adding some shading as well and blending with my finger, and then adding some gooey little drips as well, and just following all of the shapes. I then went in to do some more detailed lines across the face, such as some frown lines and so on. I also started to outline the mouth, and afterwards I decided I wanted the flesh to be joining on the mouth, so joining the two pieces together. So I did some lines going up and down the gums there, and then I filled in the teeth. These lines will be filled in with green at the end, so it will look like the flesh melting downwards. So if it's hard to see, I'm really sorry if it doesn't make sense what I'm saying here. I then outlined every tooth with black. I went to a smaller brush here and I did some shading line work on the teeth going up and down. I then did the nose and some other features along the face. I started to do the eye bags, for instance, and around the mouth, making sure to follow the shapes that I've drawn on. Some of them are quite big and others are much smaller and more intricate, and they don't really show up on the camera. You can see it better in the photographs. So I'm sorry about that, but I did my best just following her natural face shape, as well as all the wounds and the mouth and everything that we drew on. I then went in with some even thicker, more pop art shading type of lines around the chin, the boobs and the collarbone and so on. I then went back in with the pink and I filled in that wound on the chest. I'm letting it blend in with some of the black on the outside to create shading inside the wound as well. And then I thought, hey, blue might be a bit fun, but I think that experiment kind of failed. It wasn't bright enough, I don't think. I think your pus needs and your goo needs to be really bright to make the right effect. So I would just stick with the pink. And then I went in with the eyeshadows to shade her eyes, going in with the dark green in the crease and the more mustard tones under the eyes and on the centre of the lid. I then took a pencil eyeliner and lined her eyes, and I didn't use the paint yet. I just used the paint at the end to make it really sharp and everything like that, just because it can bleed into the lashes and then into the actual eye. So be careful with those water activated paints. Did some mascara, and then it was just adding a cream highlight, so I used a white cream foundation to do this, and I like this because it can stand out, but you can also blend it if you want to. We have highlighted everything. I went back in with the green paint and I joined those bits of flesh on the mouth. I then outlined all of that with some black, and unfortunately my camera decided to not record at this point, so I don't have all the footage, so you will have to rely upon the photos here to see what I'm talking about. But I really hope that you guys have learned something from this video. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what you would like to see next, and of course subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media at Charlotte Wallace MUA, and I love you guys lots, and I will see you next time. Have an awesome day. Bye!